The next video is a video of impact therapy putting theories into practice. Impact therapy is a multisensory theory-driven approach to counseling, and we're trying to do scenarios that will give you a chance to see this. None of this is scripted. I'm role-playing a 13-year-old, and Tori is playing either a school counselor or a mental health counselor. So that's what you'll see in this next video.
Okay, Ed, do you want to tell me a little bit about what's going on?
Well, everything changed.
Okay.
It changed this last Friday or Saturday was my birthday, 13th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, it wasn't a happy birthday.
What happened?
We had a little party at my house. My cousin came, and then my cousin said that somehow he joking around and said, "You're a lucky man," and that they adopted you.
Okay.
And then I just found out on my 13th birthday that I was adopted.
Okay, so you had no idea before
No,
that? Huh.
and that was, I just feel, I just don't feel the same. I don't feel the same about my parents. I don't know, they're not really my parents. Do I call them Ruth and Abe?
Wait, what? Okay, hang on. You found out you were adopted and you were upset. Upset, I understand upset because you didn't know. That's part of it?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then I wonder what's the matter with me.
What's the matter? Okay, I got three, or I'm gonna write on this board, are you okay
Okay,
with that?
sure.
Because you have three things that are, okay, so, give me the right word, upset, angry, mad, that you didn't know.
Mad that I didn't know, and
Mad, I didn't know. Okay. And then you said, they're not my parents anymore, so I'm gonna, so that's sort of one thing. And then not my parents, okay. And then you said something else that
well, I want to know what's wrong with me.
what's wrong?
That's probably the biggest
Okay.
thing. What do you think something's wrong with me?
No, I wanna help
Well-
you. So these are just three sentences that you said that I think if we look at each one of them, we could get you feeling a little better by the time you leave today. Okay?
Okay.
What's wrong with me? Okay. So the first one, feeling angry, not knowing, that seems like a pretty normal feeling to me. You know, if I thought that I was my kid's biological parent and I found out that I wasn't, I can understand that, okay, as a counselor. And I'm a mom. As a mom, I get that, all right? Not my parents, help me understand that. Why aren't they your parents anymore?
Well, because I have two other parents, obviously,
Right?
that didn't want me.
Well, do you know the circumstances of the adoption? Did your parents share that with you?
Well, they just said they got me when I was about 2 days old.
Okay.
That my mother was a 16-year-old.
Okay, so your biological mother was really young
Yeah.
and she wasn't able to care for you.
I figured something was wrong with me.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 13. I was just 13 Friday.
Do you want a baby in 3 years?
Oh, good gosh, no.
Okay. Could you take care of it? Not even want, forget want, that's not a good word. You think taking care of a baby, you know anything about taking care of a baby? Ever been around babies?
Yeah, I've been around a baby. My cousin.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So in
No.
In 3 years, would you want to be doing that? Okay. So
But still, if a mother has a child, they keep their baby unless something's wrong with them.
well, not mothers who adopt their children out.
Why would somebody do that other than something being wrong?
Well, if they're 16 years old and they're not able financially or personally to take care of that baby. I mean, let's think of a 16, you know any 16-year-olds? in your
Oh,
life?
yeah,
Cousins,
sure. I know a
friends,
lot of
kids
16.
on your baseball
Yeah, I
team?
know a lot of 16.
Any of them seem like they'd be real good at taking care of a baby? I know when my baby was a night old, 2 days old, he woke up, you know, every.
How old were you when you had a baby?
I was, my first baby 30, my second baby 34. And my son woke up every 45 minutes for about 6 months. And that was really, really hard. So I'm just thinking at 16, I'm positive at 16 I couldn't have dealt with that. So if I'm clear, your anger is not with this woman who gave birth to you.
No, my anger is at Ruth and Abe.
At not your parents. Okay, so this 16-year-old girl had a baby. I'm guessing, because I've actually worked with some kids who have gotten pregnant and decided to give the baby up for adoption. I'm guessing.
Why did they give it up?
Because they couldn't take care of it. Because their parents said, you know, we're not going to support you financially, because they didn't want to, because there wasn't a partner in the picture, because they want to go to college, because they wanted the baby to have
16 is young, isn't it?
better life. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I think this woman, we don't know her name, right?
No.
She gave you up, and then let's talk about Ruth and Abe. So they wanted a baby real bad.
That's what they told me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so they chose you. I mean, they went and they had to, you know, to adopt a baby, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of money. So they chose you.
Well, why do I feel so bad?
Well, I think you're telling yourself some things, Ed. You're telling yourself you're different because you're adopted.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at that. Can I backtrack for a second? Before you found out on your 13th birthday that you were adopted, your relationship with your parents on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being fantastic, great, wonderful relationship, 1 being
It was good. 9, 10. I mean, it was
good.
My friends envy. Yeah.
So before, we'll make a line here, before 13, your relationship with your parents was a 9 or a 10, the envy of your friends.
Yeah.
Why was it a 9 or a 10? Because you knew that your parents.
I got along with them. They supported me. My dad helped me with sports. My mother helped me with sports. Both of them were good athletes. And
So they were loving. They took care of you.
Yeah.
They took you to sports. They paid for the sports. Did y'all have fun together?
Oh yeah, a lot of fun.
Okay, did a lot of fun things. You're an only child?
Yeah.
Okay. So, was the reason that you loved your mom and dad because your mother had pushed you out of her body? Is that why you loved your mom?
Which mom?
Your adoptive mother, Ruth. Is that why?
I loved Ruth because 1, I thought she was my mother, and 2, she was nice, kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ruth, let's just stick with that, okay? Ruth, aka Mom, the only mother you've ever known, right? Was kind, you said, and she loved you, and she took care of you, and she did stuff with you, and she did all the things that a mom does. So the only difference between Ruth or your mom, the mom that you know, and now calling her Ruth, is the fact that you found out you didn't come out of her body. I mean, that's how I see it, kind of. You see what I'm saying there? What makes a mom, Ed?
Probably those things.
Mm-hmm. So when you say these are not my parents, they've done all the things that parents do. But you've got this voice inside your head, this little voice that's saying, well, they're not my parents. I'm angry because I didn't know. What's the matter with me? You're telling yourself kind of junky thoughts, right? Here's a crazy thing, right? I have something in here. This is, you know what this is?
Looks like a plastic brain.
It's a plastic brain. It's actually a Jello mold, but yeah, it's a brain. And our brain is so cool because if you tell yourself stuff, your brain will believe it. So even though your brain's in charge of the thinking, if you tell your brain stuff, your brain will believe it. So for 12.9 years, you told yourself, I love these people, they're my parents, they're great parents, they're parents at a 9 or a 10, right? And from my perspective, those are true thoughts. That's true feelings. You see this water, it's clear. I could even see you through it, kind of. Those are true beliefs. Those are true thoughts. These people took care of me, they loved me, they were there for me. That's true. That's what was in your brain. True thoughts.
Okay.
You with me? Then you found this out and you started having some kind of untrue thoughts or cloudy thoughts, murky thoughts, right? Look at this. Hold that up in front of me. Can you see that through me? Can you see me through that?
No.
Yeah. So imagine
No, I can't.
your brain, it sits in water. So your brain is actually, almost 75% water, right? So true thoughts, all good. Water, good. If you put Coke in your brain, if you put bad thoughts, right? That'd be bad. It would be bad. It would hurt you. It'd be junk. It would make you feel bad, right? These thoughts, it's almost like poison, bad
What
stuff
thoughts?
in your brain. What's wrong with me? My parents aren't my parents. They're Ruth and Abe. You're telling yourself junk thoughts, and it doesn't feel good. What do you think when I say that?
Are you saying I can feel the way I felt before I found this out?
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible?
Well, let me show you this a little more clearly. It's your job to remember these words. Not my parents, what's wrong. We tell ourselves things that are true. We mostly feel okay. Sometimes true things are sad, right? Or disappointing
Sure.
or hurtful, right? So these are true things. And these are things that are not true. What's true is that you tell me. True?
Yeah, I don't want it to be true,
Okay.
but it's true. I guess, yeah. If you
That's
would have
true.
said that to me 3 weeks ago, I'd have said it wasn't true.
Okay. I'm going to write something else down. I'm going to write it here under not true, but just tell me what you think when you see it. Because.
Ed is bad or not as good as he thought he was last week because he's adopted. Yeah, that's true.
Is that true? Your goodness as a human being has changed because you're
It
adopted.
feels like it.
Buddy, you were adopted last week. You were adopted the week before that. You were adopted 2 years ago.
But it feels like it. Why does it feel like it?
Because you're telling yourself junk. I'm crap because I was adopted. Honey, you've always been adopted. You just found out about it. So 2 weeks ago, before you knew you were adopted, were you good? Were you okay?
I felt real good.
Uh-huh. Scale 1 to 10.
I told my mom right before my birthday that I'm as happy as I've ever been. My school stuff, I was really doing good in math. I struggled with math, and now I get it. I had mom help me, and they got a tutor for about, and they that tutor explained it, and then I got it.
Okay.
And I think that really amazed me.
Your life is going pretty well. You're doing, so those are true things too. Math is what? Easy now? Fun now?
Well,
Good now?
math is
Easier?
fun.
Fun?
Easier. Yeah.
Easier? Fun or
Easy.
easier?
It's fun, sort of,
is
because
fun.
I understand it.
Now.
This tutor, I wish I'd have had that tutor before.
Okay. So that's a true thing. Math is true. It's fun now. I understand it. You said, I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
When you made that statement, Ed, you were adopted. You see what I'm saying? Being adopted isn't what's making you unhappy.
What is?
Telling yourself crap about being adopted. Being adopted is a...
So this is really in my head?
Well, yeah. But, you know, your thoughts are a really powerful thing. A really powerful thing. Being adopted doesn't change anything because you've always been adopted. Does that make sense?
Well, I've always been adopted, but I didn't know I was always adopted.
Right, and that can be disappointment, that can be a sense of loss. If you came in here and said, I am pissed off at my parents because I've been adopted for 13 years and I didn't know that, I would
So
say...
you're saying that all I need to do is change my
Well,
self-talk?
I think we need to tell you some things that are... Have you tell yourself some things that are true. I'm adopted. I'm going to change this language so it's you. I am adopted. Is it true that you wish you would have known before? I mean, your parents picked you. The 16-year-old girl.
I asked them why they didn't tell, and they were going to, and they were really set to tell me, and they said then that's when my grandmother died.
Okay.
And so they were thrown off. And then there was another time they were going to tell me, and I had a bad bicycle accident.
Okay.
I mean, always around, they were going to do it on a birthday usually, or I don't know, or they said they thought of doing it on birthday, and then they thought, well, don't do it on birthday. But there were 2 or 3 different times they were going to tell me.
And it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Why do you think they didn't tell you when your grandma died, when you fell off your bike?
Because I was already in, I don't know, I was already in pain, I guess.
And what? And they didn't want what?
Me to be more upset.
Give me an emotion. More upset, more what?
I don't know, angry, hurt.
Why would they not want you to be angry and hurt?
Well, I don't know. You tell me, you're the counselor.
Well, I mean, but I don't even know Ruth and Abe. I mean, why do you think when you're hurt or your grandma's dying, why do they not want you to be more upset?
Well, they don't sort of pile on. They don't want to
What would piling on do to you?
make me feel worse.
And when you love somebody, you don't want to hurt them, right?
So you don't think I should be real mad at them?
I mean, I think you can be as mad as you want to be. I'm just... And if you came in here and said, I'm pissed at my parents because I didn't know, that's a different conversation. But you're telling me somehow being adopted makes you less of a person and makes your parents not your parents. And those are danger thoughts. That's coke in the brain, right? Cloudy, dangerous thoughts that are going to make you feel bad. Being angry at your parents, if you said to me, I'm adopted, I am angry, my parents didn't tell me, or I wish my parents had told me sooner. Here's one thing I want to ask. Ruth and Abe, are they pediatricians?
A kid doctor?
Uh-huh.
No.
Are they
Why did you ask that?
child psychiatrists? Child psychologists? Are they?
No, my dad sells real estate, and my
Okay.
mother works in a law firm as a legal secretary.
Okay. So your mom knows a lot about like filing papers, filing briefs. Your dad knows a lot about buying and selling houses. I'm guessing, and I am a counselor lady and a mom. I wouldn't know the perfect way to tell my kid that they were adopted. So I'm guessing Ruth and Abe didn't exactly know how or exactly know when, because they're not experts at that. You see what I'm saying? I've done this for a long time, work with a lot of parents. My opinion is most parents do like the very best they can. And some parents, they're doing the best they can, but it sort of sucks. But you told me that Ruth and Abe were 9s or 10s
yeah.
as parents.
They're upset about this because they know how upset I am. That's why they wanted me to come see you.
Yeah. I mean,
How can I feel better
it's completely up to you.
even if I'm adopted?
You've been adopted the whole time, buddy.
So how do I feel better?
Well, you said to me earlier when your life was a 9 or a 10 and you were the happiest you've ever been, What kind of things did you tell yourself about your life? You remember math is easier than it's ever been. What'd you tell yourself about your parents? So.
I love my parents.
What else? You said they're good parents.
I love my school. I love my friends, or I like my friends. That kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So this is what you tell yourself about your life before.
And why have I felt bad all week?
Because, right, when you tell yourself this stuff, I love my parents, they're good parents, I love my school, even this, I'm adopted, I wish my parents had told me sooner, but what?
I was telling myself that.
You were telling yourself this, yeah.
Is that what made me feel bad all week?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, when you told yourself this, you felt pretty good about your life. And all week long...
I haven't ever told myself this.
Here's what you've been telling yourself. Here's what you've been telling yourself all week. So all of your life, 1 to 12.95, right? You've been telling yourself this stuff. Well, not this, okay? But I love my parents. They're good parents. I love my school. I love my friends. I have a...
Good life.
Is it just good?
Well, a great life. I mean, yeah.
I think it is pretty great, huh? I mean, I work with a lot
That's
of
the way,
kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's a pretty good life. This week, right? So from 12.95 to 13.0, you've been telling yourself, the people who raised me are not my parents. Tell me what that sentence is. You said it earlier. My parents are not my parents.
Well, right. Yeah, I've been saying I don't know who my parents. I don't know who my parents are.
Okay.
I've been saying that, and then that feels bad.
I bet it does.
And then I've been saying I hate them.
Oh.
I hate Ruth and Abe for
Okay.
what they did.
Okay. Yeah, that would feel bad. I mean, this is such a lie. I mean, so untrue. That would feel pretty bad to say that because you have these wonderful, loving people. I met them upstairs.
Yeah.
They were, so saying that there's probably that part of your brain that's like, what? Ed, that's crazy. You know who your parents are. They're right here, right? Do you feel any part of that? Okay. So I don't know who my parents are.
And then I tell you what else. I've been saying something is wrong with me.
Right. Okay, you mentioned that earlier.
That's what makes me feel bad.
Right. Well,
And you promise there's nothing wrong with me?
I mean, you call me Dr. Stone. I'm a doctor. This is what I do. I check out people's heads and stuff. You seem okay to me, buddy. To say you're sad, you're hurt, you're upset, that's all right. People survive that. Kids survive that all the time. Kids are pretty tough. I know who my parents are. Something is wrong with me. And you're saying this out of 10. In your mom's car, if you turn up the volume on the radio and she turn that down, Ed, does she, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have this at a volume 10. Blaring in your head, and it's so loud that all these thoughts have been shushed. You know what I mean? They've been turned down. Up until 12.5.
I was.
This was the song you were listening to. This was the download. This was on repeat in your head, and now you've got these on repeat in your head, and probably some other stuff.
I've been saying. I'll tell you. I'm gonna put one more up there. My life sucks. That's what I've been telling myself this week.
Can I ask a question? Because okay, let me just say this. You're a 13-year-old kid, but you're a super smart 13-year-old kid. Okay, so a lot of 13-year-old kids I wouldn't necessarily go this far with, especially the first time we're meeting, right? But, I mean, you're picking it up pretty quick and you're getting it pretty quick. So last week, you said, I love my life. You said, I am happier than I have ever been. I am happier than I have ever been. Last week, you said, I am happier than I've ever been. Today, 7 days later, you're saying, my life sucks. I'm happier than I've ever been. My life sucks. Ed, from my perspective, the only thing that's different is what you're telling yourself. Those negative thoughts. In counseling, we call them automatic negative thoughts. What does that spell?
Ants.
I have some little ants, but I don't think I brought them. Imagine ants crawling all over your brain.
Ooh. No, stop.
Well, that's what those thoughts are like. Automatic negative thoughts make you feel bad. True thoughts make you feel better. Positive true thoughts make you feel the best. It's good for your brain. So for the last week, because Ed, from 0 to now, you have been adopted. The only difference between then and now, a week ago and now, is that you know you're adopted. And you're filling your brain.
You gotta quit that.
Well, you gotta quit it. You gotta quit it. What do you do if there's an ant? If there was an ant on your head right now, what would you do? Knock it off. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Each one of these thoughts, think of it like one of those ants. I don't know who my parents are.
I think I get it. You're saying that those things aren't true.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
And this stuff that's true, I feel good. That's the way I felt.
I don't know who my parents are. Not true. I'm angry with my parents. I wish they didn't tell me.
I wish they had told me.
I
sooner.
wish they had told me sooner. Yeah. I'm angry that I missed a word here, right? I'm
No,
angry
that's
that my
good. I am
parents-
angry. Yeah,
I wish they had told me sooner. Also true. I love my parents. They're good parents. So all of this is true.
I think So it's okay for me to go back to feel the way I felt.
That's perfectly fine. I mean, I'm not in charge of your thinking, you are. If you want to feel that, is this a true sentence? Who are your parents, Ed?
My parents are Ruth and A.
Yeah.
I mean, it's parents. Yeah.
If parents are people who take care of you and love you and take you to
Right,
baseball and
right.
buy you Christmas
I
presents,
have a biological mom and dad.
you
somewhere.
have a biological, and you know what? Send them light and love because they gave you a nice life. You know, you have nice parents. You have a dog. You have a.
If I
good
start to
life.
feel bad, can I come see you again?
You can come see me again, but if you start feeling bad and it's a time where you can't see me, I want you to think about that. And I know this is an annoying sound, but when you start feeling those feelings, or sometimes we
Just
don't.
think of the ants in my.
Yeah. When you start feeling bad, a lot of times you don't think about the words, but your mood changes. You start to feel bad. Think to yourself, there's an ant around. There's something bad. There's an ant around. And then think about what
So
you're
I can go
thinking.
upstairs and hug my parents
Uh-huh.
and tell them I love them.
Yeah.
Because I've been telling them I hate them.
Right.
And I didn't like that.
Well, let's say something with that. You are angry with your parents. It's perfectly fine to be angry with them.
But you even said they're not pediatricians.
Right.
Do you think I should be mad at them?
I think it's completely up to you how long you're angry with them. I think there's a little bit of loss in this, right? You're kind of grieving what you thought was true. But when you're ready to be done with being angry with your parents, what you can tell yourself is they did the best they could. They're not experts at raising kids.
If you were advising people, do you know the time when they're supposed to tell a kid they're adopted?
It depends on the kid, and it depends on the family, and it depends on the circumstances. I would not tell a family to tell a child that they're adopted after the death of a significant family member. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't tell a family to tell a kid they're adopted after they fell off their bike and broke their arm and wound up in the hospital. I wouldn't tell a family to tell a kid they're adopted when they moved to a new place. So I think your parents you're probably reading books and Googling stuff to figure out when to tell, and then your cousin sort of let the cat out of the bag. I mean, we could be mad at him if you want. Let's be mad at him. You want to be mad at him?
I could be.
We could be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's an idea.
yeah. but I mean, I'm guessing he probably thought you knew. If you want to feel better, tell yourself the truth, Ed. You have good parents. They love you. They're doing
Before we go, can I take a picture of this with my phone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think that would help me in case I get.
So we figured out you know who your parents are. They're Ruth and Ed, and Mom and Dad, right? Something is wrong with me. Really loud. Is something wrong with you?
No, when you told me about 16-year-olds, I mean, people that I know that are 16, they don't want kids, gee whiz. No. My next door neighbor, she's 16.
Does she have a baby?
Oh no.
You think it'd be a good idea for her to have a
Oh
baby?
no, good
No.
gosh. No, and she would hate it. She would hate it.
I mean, look, there's a lot of conversations for you to have with your parents about this and what happened, and they might have answers I don't have, and that's all good. How about this last one?
My life doesn't suck. I mean, it sucked this week because of the ants in my head.
But is this what's really true?
This week was hard for me.
I bet it was hard for your parents too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of the worst weeks I've ever had.
But do you think you could get back to a point where...
Well, it would get back as soon as I just see them as my parents and not be mad at them.
I completely agree with you, Ed. When you get the ants out of your head, when you turn down those thoughts, when you stop thinking negative things, it will feel better. You're still going to have questions, you're still going to come up with stuff, but you will feel better. You came here saying, I'm feeling bad at a 10, and we want to turn that down and get it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that help?
It does help.
Okay. Tell yourself this stuff. Go ahead and take a picture, but tell yourself this stuff. And then...
Yeah, maybe I'll just take this out.
Yeah, get rid of that other stuff, yeah. Well, you might
But
as
it's
well
good to have the word ants too, to remember that.
Uh-huh.
I'll never forget you doing that.
Want me to do it again?
No,
Okay.
no, we can stop. Can I go now?
You can go now. Thank you for
Okay.
talking to me. Thanks.
Ready? I just thought this is a good example for anybody watching this. It's an example of REBT, that thoughts cause feelings. She never taught that very directly, but it was a theory-driven counseling session, multisensory in that she used the props. I think Tori's use of props was excellent. I think Tori's use of the whiteboard, and I know we advocate this in impact therapy, is to make your counseling visual, make it multisensory. And just as playing the client, and we didn't script this at all, but playing the client, having the stuff up on the board certainly was helpful to me. And I think I'll remember things. One of the concepts in impact therapy is the brain likes novelty. And her playing with that brain with her fingers after she taught the concept of ants, which comes from David Ammon's work. But I think that's a good concept. And I think as a kid I would remember that, and I just kept staring at the board. Those things are implanted in my mind, and then we often have our clients take pictures. Now, if we write stuff, we just give them the sheet of paper and have them take it. That was my thoughts. Tori, what are your thoughts?
I was a school counselor for a long time. This is something I would do in school counseling. Probably, it might have been maybe 20 minutes instead of 30, but if I had a kid who was real upset, I would have kept him the whole time and let the teachers yell. Yeah, I think everything Ed said in terms of thinking theoretically and then delivering it to the client in a way that they can consume it. I don't need to teach Ed REBT if I can teach him that he's in charge of what he thinks. He didn't seem to like pop with the Coke in his brain too much. Some kids see that and they're like, ew, that's gross, whatever. But when I did my nails on the brain, that clearly grossed him out. So I went with that because it'll stay with him. So I'm just trying to have impact. I'm just trying to get my point across so that they can hear my voice or hear those concepts in their head louder than those hurtful sentences.
And the purpose of making this video really is to show theories into practice. Impact therapy is a multisensory, theory-driven approach to counseling, and I think this is a good example of REBT, Albert Ellis's work, Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy.
And one thing I would say for those of you that are students is if you watch Albert Ellis do counseling, his style is pretty different than my style, and his style is different than Ed's style and other impact therapist style. Who you are is as important to the counseling as the theoretical approach you use. So bringing it all together with theory, your own personality, your skill, for us, creative techniques, that's what really makes the package. So if I tried to do REBT like Al Ellis did, it wouldn't fit for me. So I just do it like I do it, and that does fit.